Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Now today we're talking about something a little different compared to what we're kind of used to on this channel. Sorry, notification, and Androids, they blink, so that would have kept me annoyed the whole time. But today we are talking about booze, alcohol, everything in between like that.
Mr. Booze, Mr. Booze, Mr. B-double-O-Z. That sure spells booze.
And so, to get started, let's just kind of run over the basics again of what is alcohol. So, alcohol is also what's more commonly known as alcohol, but it is ethanol, which is the reaction when yeast digest sugar in carb-rich foods. Now, the other thing about ethanol is, one of the most famous ways that it is created is with the use of corn. And you may not know this, but ethanol is also used in petrol or gasoline products. So that's a fun thing. We're technically ingesting chemical used in gas. That's a fun way to start the video off if you didn't know that. But, with drinking, so I did a bunch of research. I can put the links from all the sources I use down below. Now, there was a very big trend I found in doing the research for this. Now, is drinking good? Yes. Is drinking bad? Yes. That's right, it's both. But it goes into the part of all the different variables within it. So, is drinking good? Let's answer that first. Is drinking good? Yes. Why or how so? So, drinking in moderation can lower the risk of heart disease. It raises good cholesterol. I think it was DHL cholesterol is what it raises. It can stop the formation of blood clots. It has the possibility to reduce the risk of ischemic stroke. So an ischemic stroke is where your blood begins to clot or your arteries begin to close, and it creates a tighter channel allowing for less blood to be able to flow to the brain. So an ischemic stroke is just a reduction of blood flow to the brain resulting in a stroke, and in moderation can reduce the risk of diabetes. Well, I don't even know what that is. The possible risk of diabetes. There's a reason I'm doing this video. Is drinking bad? This is where it gets touchy, because so I'm just going to list off everything that the research I read says about what happens if you drink. So going down the list: increase risk of breast cancer, oral cancer with differences in mouth, throat, and esophagus cancers. It rises heart disease, can provide strokes, affects cirrhosis of the liver. It has effects towards mental health with memory loss. It can create addictions due to dopamine and other hormone releases. It can also, in some cases, worsen depression and relieve anxiety, or create more anxiety depending on reaction to it. Reduce fertility. Light drinking can create lower conception rates in women, and heavy drinking can lower sperm quality and quantity in men. Long bouts of heavy drinking can raise blood pressure, cardiomyopathy, which is harder for your heart to be able to pump the blood correctly, congestive heart failure, again stroke, impairs body's ability to fight off infection correctly. Again, it creates more risk of cancer and weight gain due to the empty calories within all the different variations of drinks containing alcohol. Now, is this all going to happen right away? Not at all, because it's all due to moderation. So, with a lot of the things that were talked about in the research, a lot of the deaths that did occur, so there were deaths occurring from cancer, deaths occurring due to liver issues, and deaths occurring due to self-harm. Now, the research did not suggest that everybody drank the same amount. So it's hard to say if, like, an off, like, just having one beer one night, that's going to play a big role, because realistically, it's not. But it's if you're, as they say, going on a bender, or just having large quantities every night, that's what creates those issues. Because in alcohol, there is, now I'm going to butcher this, acetaldehyde, which I probably said that wrong. It's spelled ACETALDEHYDE. See, I had to look because I didn't even think that was going to be on screen still. But acetaldehyde, it creates, so it damages DNA, and when those DNA strands become damaged, that's where it becomes a risk of cancer, because when the cells begin to mutate or they're not being formed correctly, that's what then develops the issues. So is it going to cause it right away? No. But increased amounts of intoxication or increased amounts of alcohol within the blood system for prolonged periods of time does create more and more effects of, affecting the DNA, and then in turn creating a higher risk of cancer. And then for liver issues, it wasn't spoken too much about what actually causes that. Again, it could be just the fact of the liver filtering. However, there are, again, many other things that could go into it, just because the liver is, it works doing so many things for the body. Like, it plays a big role. So is it always going to be healthy? No. But the thing is, like, with the good parts of drinking, those are all in moderation. The negative comes when you're drinking excessively. So, you may be wondering, what is the recommended amount of drinking for one individual per day? So, per person, the recommended amount is, so for women, it is recommended that they have one drink, and now the one drink has to be standard sized. It can't be like restaurant style. So it's saying, like, if you're gonna have a drink, 12-ounce beer, 5-ounce wine, 1 ounce or 1.5 ounce of like a shot or something for any liquors or anything else. Now, that is highly unlikely a lot of the time, just because if you have, like, a lot of the time, if you go out for dinner, they don't often serve 12 ounces. And now some places do, I understand that, but what was it, yesterday I had, like, what was it, 19? Pretty sure it was 19. And that's just what they serve normally. So that already would put me at just over 1.5 of my 2 daily allowed drinks. So is that bad? I mean, no, but you just kind of have to learn to go along with it. Now, here's the other part to do with it is, as much as this is all going on, the biggest issue realistically, if you're drinking in moderation for the most part, like, say you hang out with some friends one night and you drink a little more than usual, like, but at home you don't drink too often, or you have like one or the odd two. I can't see that as being bad, because you're having one, the odd two, or none, so you're carrying throughout in moderation, and then one night you just have a little more than normal. So it does put more stress on the body to have that one night on its own. However, it does not mean that it's the end of the world. Just because the other way to look at it is the body is a giant regenerative thing. Like with, well, it's regenerative as well as there are some things you can't control. For example, like you may remember seeing smokers' lungs when you were younger, when they did this is a healthy lung, like fresh, pink, inflates everything easy. And then you see the smoker's lung and it's black, doesn't inflate to the right size, and it shapes out weirdly. And so, that's how a lot of people were taught to associate with that. That's like if you don't smoke, your lungs will stay pink and that everything will be fine. However, that isn't the truth. Because, like, even as it is, like, you, me, like, both of our lungs do have black spots on them just from being outside and just inhaling emissions. Like, if you live downtown Toronto and you don't smoke, you're going to get black spots in your lungs. Just because, walking past people who smoke, walking downtown with all the traffic going on, there are just some things you can't control that do affect the body. Now, the other part is about being regenerative. Most part of the body, they will be able to regenerate. However, a lot of them do take a long time to do so. And that is only if your body is still working optimally. Like if your body already has some things that are going on with it, it's going to become harder to function in other capabilities. So if you do have something going on in your body, that is going to be the forefront of where your body is going to be trying to fight and solve. So if you add on this other problem, it's most likely going to go untreated and it's just going to grow and create a bigger issue. Now, would I say to, go pour everything down the sink and just never touch it again? No, the thing about drinking is it's not, like, all the articles basically said that. It's not the fact that you are drinking, it's just the quantity of how you are drinking as well as, like, what. So, basically, the big motto and life lesson from this is just know what you're drinking and know how much you're drinking. Like, the one thing I never understood about younger people and like people who party, I don't understand how it becomes a good time when you get alcohol poisoning. But I don't know, some people push themselves that far. Some people know their limitations. It goes into all those barriers because not everyone fully understands themselves yet and has experimented and seen like what their body can tolerate and what their body can't tolerate while drinking. It just goes into a lot of different variables. So, is it fine to drink? Yes. Is it good to do it in moderation? Yes. Can you do it excessively? Well, everybody's got a different term on excessively, so I can't say yes or no. For me, excessively is completely different for you. Like, just because everybody has their own limits, everybody has their own friend groups see things differently, but it just falls into do what you're comfortable with doing. If you had so many drinks and then you're just like, you know what, I think this is where I'm going to call it. Don't, just put your foot down. If anybody else tries to make you have a drink, don't do it. Don't feel pressure to do it. Don't feel like you should. If you're comfortable with calling it there, call it. Because, there's only one thing worse than... Oh, I can't say that right. Because as much fun as it is for everybody else, like, those memories you don't remember, everybody else will. So there's no point creating memories for them. Especially because a lot of the times those stories aren't fun. That or, again, heavy intoxication can result in life-threatening injuries as well as, end of life based on decisions made. So, as always, just drink responsibly. If you're going to drink, do it But again, be responsible about it. If you are going to go out, just remember, stay in moderation, stay comfortable. If you're outside of your house and you're in public, obviously you want to stay in more of a comfortable zone, just because there are a lot more things that you can't control in those situations. If you're in a controlled situation, though, feel free to kind of experiment more, or like see what drinks you like and what you don't, just because, that way, if something does go wrong, it won't be in the worst situation, if that makes sense. But yeah, drinking, it's become more of a prevalent thing in recent years, so I don't know, it's hard to say to stop it, because not a lot of people will. I doubt a lot of people even watch this far into the video, but it creates those, like, it's always fine to drink, because everybody does it pretty much, but just remember, do it in moderation, stay safe. If you're out, be with a group of friends, because that way somebody always has your back. And don't do anything stupid. A lot of things can happen when anybody's under the influence, and it's not even with safety, but just always make the best decision you can. But with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free, comment down below anything you want to see, anything you want to hear, anything you want to talk about. Feel free, comment that all down below. While you're down there, feel free, hit the like button, as well as to subscribe if you're new around here. With that all being said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, don't party too hard. And please just be responsible when you drink.
Don't mess with Mr. Booze. Oh, Mr. Booze. Don't mess with Mr. Booze. Oh, Mr. Booze. Don't mess with Mr. Booze.
Don't mess with BOOZE, 'cause that spells booze, and you're gonna lose with Mr. Booze.